As ORAN gets popular, we often end up in discussions where someone is explaining traffic steering, but they may not have a correct understanding or may not fully understand how it's done. Here is a short tutorial on the topic based on our understanding. Happy to hear your feedback on this one, and as always, feel free to disagree. In a commercial mobile network, mobile operators generally deploy multiple radio technologies like 2G, 3G, 4G, and 5G from the same mast or tower. In addition, each of these radio technologies would generally use multiple frequencies. This gives rise to hierarchical cells. If you watched our most popular tutorial on radio frequency band and spectrum, you would know that all these cells are different sizes because of the frequency they use. By the time 4G or LTE was rolled out, the standards had built-in capability for self-optimization of the networks. You would generally see this being referred to as SON, and we have a detailed tutorial on this one. One of the features in that is known as mobility load balancing or load balancing in short. We sometimes also refer to it simply as MLB. Anyway, load balancing allowed network to move users between different layers depending on the load on a layer, QoS requirements, bandwidth requirements, whether the user is low or high mobility, etc. This was generally straightforward. The algorithms became a bit more complex when carrier aggregation or CA was introduced as part of LTE Advance in 3GPP release 10. Now the scheduler had a lot more intelligence, and sometimes this conflicted with load balancing algorithms if there was no coordination between them. You have to remember here that the CA layers were different for different users, again depending on what they were doing, and maybe in some cases what kind of subscription they had. Things got even more complex when dual connectivity or DC started getting used with 5G non-standalone or 5G NSA. Even though you could use DC with LTE, I didn't hear of it ever being used. DC introduced additional complexity with the load balancing algorithms based on if the network had enough intelligence on what the goal of a particular UE was. Most networks didn't have much information at this point, so it was okay to move the user based on how much cell was loaded. This is where traffic steering or TS comes into play. Take for example that there are two 5G cells. The UE is in an area where the cells have overlapping coverage. If the cell that the UE is currently camped on is overloaded, then the network can ask the UE to move to a less loaded cell. This is similar to the load balancing concept and is known as horizontal traffic steering. The real interesting bit comes when the ORAN system is able to perform a vertical traffic steering and is able to move the UE to a different RAT or radio access technology, including Wi-Fi. This would require the XApp or RApp in the rig to have operational status of other RATs, which may not always be possible. In addition, it has to be aware of which bands the UE supports, etc. In practice, this may be just limited to 4G and 5G and may be trusted Wi-Fi deployed by operator themselves. The REM Labs white paper provides a good list of inputs that a traffic steering mechanism needs to consider. This includes the radio conditions, the UE capabilities, for example, if the UE supports MIMO, CA, etc. Available RATs, example 4G, 5G, and RAT specific features, example DC, CA, LAA. Frequency bands and layers, example coverage layer, capacity layer, wave, etc. Cell load, example physical resource blocks, PRB load, number of users, number of packet data unit, PDU sessions. Quality of service requirements, RAN and UE power consumption. The white paper also provides details on input parameters used to customize UE-specific traffic steering, as well as various triggers for traffic steering. An important bit to keep in mind is that in traditional SON solutions, all UEs will be treated equally for each of the SON algorithm or optimization. In case of traffic steering, each UE will be treated individually and will have a unique treatment based on the parameters discussed here. Here is a list of references. The slides will be available on the 3G4G page. Hopefully, this short video provided an understanding of what is traffic steering, why it's needed, and how is it triggered in case of ORAN. Do let us know if you have any opinions on this topic. Thank you and see you again soon. Goodbye.